Well, I was here invited to speak a little about branding, of course, but also want to interact with you and all the people in South Africa that I have possibility to meet, because I really like both your country and all the people here. But just to talk a little bit about brands and brands in the ditch, I can only say one brand that is really in the ditch, and that's Iceland. As you all know, we were supposed to be here a month ago, and the volcanic activities in Iceland has really made a big trouble for a lot of people. So now all these discussions between European countries and Iceland is appearing, and at the moment there's a verbal discussion or a semantic discussion, because the Icelands, or the Europeans rather, they said that if you remember the bank crisis in Iceland, are you updated with that? So a lot of money disappeared that way. But the Icelandic, they are very certain that the issue was not about the banking. They said that, oh, you said cash, we thought you said ash. So that's the debate. And now there's also a Facebook page appearing, where you can join, and I think you should. When I die, please spread the ashes over Iceland. Okay, that's the more unserious way part. Giles also asked me to talk a little bit about the trends that we see in Scandinavia, Sweden and Europe when it comes to branding. And I think there are a few that are very, very clear. One for sure is the green branding is among many companies. This is a high issue on all the agendas of corporates that we work with and that we see. The other one is branded services. And if you know the history of Sweden and where we come from, we have a tradition of exporting a lot of the ideas that we developed through 100 years back, and that has made us very aware of what is needed to build brands internationally. And now when the world or the global picture is changing, a lot of that that we once invented is easily copied in Asia and India and other countries in that part of the world. And so we sit with a lot of knowledge that we need to get paid for, quite simply. And that knowledge needs to be branded. And that's a trend I can very clearly see among the industrial companies that we work with. How can they actually package the knowledge they have to get paid for it, brand it, and really expose the value of that knowledge? So a lot of traditionally hard industrial companies like SKF, you know, I'm sure, the bearings company, they are now not selling bearings. They had packages with bearings on the outside before, but they don't have that anymore. They took the bearings away because they say they're now a knowledge company. And that is also, when it comes to internal branding, a big issue. How do you turn a company like that are used to talk about function and features of products into knowledge companies? So they have very high-profile internal programs. That is, the sales force needs to understand it. The development department needs to understand how they can actually package and brand that knowledge. So that's just a very short insight to what we're looking into. The other thing that I mentioned is the green branding, or CSR. A lot of company, of course, like everyone with a high profile, is working with how can we be perceived as a caring company, and that's also very high on the agenda on most executives today. Another thing that we see that it's that once again, internal branding, the status of the internal branding has increased a lot, because before you had to fight quite a lot to get that on the agenda for the executive team. But since this globalization has taken so much space, and it really concerns, they understand that to make a big impression all over the globe with the same positioning, you need to engage people to really understand who they are, what they stand for, and what value they bring. and that, you know, one company, one voice, that those kind of programs also I see quite a lot. So, and then of course we have some issues when it comes to Volvo and Saab. I'm sure you know, Volvo is, I'm sure you know, it actually comes from our home city where we live, and it's now being sold to China. And from a branding perspective, apart from that a lot of people are afraid of losing their jobs, of course, it's very interesting to see, it will be very interesting to see how they will keep the Scandinavian or Swedish values in the Volvo brand. Because the Volvo brand is actually split in two parts. There's a Volvo part that has the trucks and the buses and the boat engines, and then you have the Volvo cars. The Volvo cars is sold to China, but they share the brand, Volvo. So if the Volvo cars get very much associated with the Chinese way of working or thinking, or you know, that could affect the other part of Volvo. So that's a big concern. So that's another thing that is very high up on the Scandinavian agenda or the Swedish agenda. And then we have Saab. You know, Saab is also a Swedish brand. I think in a brand perspective, they have found a better match because Spiker cars, it's not a very well-known brand, but it's a sports car brand, and Saab has always had the ambition to be much more of a sports car than they actually are perceived. And the owner of Spiker is an entrepreneur and has a very high profile, much more into car. He's a car fanatic, and I think when he can inject the Saab brand with that attitude and that personality, I think that would be very interesting to see where they're going. And then there's a big debate of what the name should be. Should it be Saab Spiker, Spiker Saab, and all that? Somebody said that Saab Spiker is not a good name. It's like, it sounds like a gay porn star. So we'll see what it ends up. All right. I'm not going to say so much more, but if you have questions to me, you can ask. Of course, I'm available to. Yeah.
Just how do you think Brand South Africa has handled the World Cup? Or what's the European kind of view on that? And how do you think we handle our internal brand to deal with it?
Tony's answer to that should be watch CNBC Africa.
Yeah, that's
Because he's just done that.
No, since I knew that question would come, I prepared myself very well. No, but I think if you look at it, how the program's been run, I mean, it's by the book. You have the symbols, you have the naming of you have the mascot, and you have your slogans, you have everything. You engage your people, and I think that's by the book. Completely. So I don't think that is the issue. The issue is how the actual delivery will be, and how you deal with it when the World Cup is over.
What's the perception in Europe, though? How has Europe reacted to the World Cup being here? Are they excited about it? Think it's great?
I think everyone, the one who reflects about it, I mean, it's that, okay, it's first time in Africa, that's really good, they deserve it. I think that's the attitude people have. Sure. Then, of course, the perception of South Africa comes in, and are they going to make it, or how is it going to be? Are they capable of organizing a thing like this? And then, I mean, I think the actual delivery and the people will show how it goes.
Carry the day.
Yeah, I think. But the big thing will certainly be how you carry this on afterwards. Because it's easy to have a big party, and you promote all the good things, and people are happy and having a big. Then there will always be a post World Cup coverage of media, and they will say, how did it actually go, and what happens then. So that I think will affect the brand much more than the event itself.
Okay. Interesting.